tell us a little bit about who is the Project Management Association of Canada, and why is it relevant to project management professionals?
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Good question. Well, PMAC started in 2006. There was a group of project professionals across the country who'd made a couple attempts over the years to establish our own national project management association. And for various reasons, mostly funding and other items, the long distances involved in gathering a group of individuals across the country, those earlier efforts floundered. But we started again in 2006 with support from some major companies. IBM and others helped support us and funded the initiative. And we were able to successfully launch this association. It was federally founded by the federal government. They gave us our charters for the organization, and we've been functioning quite successfully since early 2006. PMAC was set up to be Canada's representative to something called the International Project Management Association, or IPMA. IPMA was started in the 60s to be an international umbrella organization helping countries come together to set international standards around project management. So it is the oldest project management association in the world. It is a gathering place where members from many different countries, Canada is one of over 70 countries now, that come together to set these standards, and PMAC is Canada's representative to that organization. PMAC offers all of those international certifications and products, et cetera, that have been created by IPMA and the other countries in the association around project management competence certification, certifying PM consultants and trainers, looking at the organizational competence of managing projects at the organizational level, looking at the excellence of projects and how they were managed individually. So we're really looking at three different levels: the individual, the project, and the organization itself, their competence and how they're able to successfully manage projects.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. So tell me a little bit about PMAC itself from your perspective. How is it different than all the other associations that are out there?
Well, what's interesting is one of our founding principles was to put a Canadian flavor onto project management. Some of the other associations, who will remain unnamed, take a very, maybe an American view of project management, for one example, whereas PMAC brings the Canadian flavor. So right from the beginning, we were looking at things like sustainability and respecting diversity on projects, and understanding that diversity in terms of backgrounds and opinions, et cetera, make us a stronger project management team and able to deliver better projects. We've also had deep respect for some of the more challenging aspects of Canadian projects. So working across multiple levels of government that may have very different agendas, working with Aboriginal communities and engaging them as stakeholders in the project planning and execution process, looking at how do we develop some of those communities. For example, for building pipelines through remote areas of the country, what about the local populations, and can we somehow engage them on the project, not just consult them for input, but actually use them as resources on the project, so that when we're done, that we leave behind a more vibrant community that's been economically stimulated, that has new skills that they can bring to future projects. Some of those other values that Canada's been trying to promote for years.
Excellent. Thank you, then. So what do you think?
Sorry. One other key aspect, though, is this difference between knowledge and competence. And I'd be remiss if I didn't focus on that. Many of the other project management associations or certifications or other regimens like that focus on knowledge. Have you passed a test? Do you remember, if you read a book, did you take a course, did you remember everything and were able to pass a test? And that's what many of the other certifications are focusing on. IPMA, which PMAC is the Canadian representative of, has created competence-based certification. So it's not, did you remember how to do a bunch of stuff for a test, but it's, have you successfully demonstrated a pattern of behavior over years of using those skills successfully in the workplace? And so that obviously the certification is much different. It's much more complex. It involves workplace assessments, et cetera. But we're looking at the whole person, not just can you memorize some stuff, but have you actually used it successfully, repeatedly? Do you have the behaviors and traits and other skills that are needed, the soft skills to make yourself a successful project manager? And also looking at, do you have the understanding of the context of the project, the business knowledge, et cetera, to understand finance and the politics within an organization and what you need to do to navigate that to make your project successful. Some of the other project management associations are just starting to look at some of those other elements now through talent triangles or other mechanisms to give a more holistic view. But IPMA's been there almost right from the start, and we've been promoting this stuff for decades.
Excellent, thank you. So that's really wonderful. So